Everybody, how's it going? So earlier today I was taking my morning walk and I took a break in the park as I often do. I whipped out my phone and started journaling. I find that the journaling in the morning is very therapeutic, and I find that it helps set a nice tone for the rest of the day. And as I was journaling, I started talking about confidence and what exactly creates it. Because I've noticed over time this dynamic that I tend to kind of sink into, and that's been extremely prevalent when I was younger, but it still is. Where let's say I'm not feeling extremely confident, or I'm not feeling very social, or whatever, I'm not feeling a certain way that I want to. And in order to counteract that, I'm trying to pretty much force myself to be that thing. So, for instance, if I'm not feeling confident, I'm going to try to think my way into being confident. I'm like, just stop being anxious, stop being anxious, stop being anxious. And you'll be surprised, but it doesn't work. So I was thinking about this dynamic and why it doesn't work. And I came to realize a very nice analogy, a very nice parable, if you like. And I would like to take the video today and share this analogy and perhaps give you guys a new way of looking at things. So when we feel a certain way that's not exactly the way we want to feel, we feel unconfident, or we feel anxious, or we feel antisocial, or whatever, we have this immediate tendency to want to fix it, right? Makes sense, obvious. Therefore, we take the quickest, the most straightforward approach to fixing the issue, which is we try to force ourselves to no longer feel that way. And we generally do that through thinking our way into it. And we think that if we kind of brainwash ourselves into being what we want to be, we're going to be able to carry that through. But it doesn't really work that way, because you can't really force your brain to, well, be a certain way. And then I realized that what the expression of who we are, so the way we act on the outside, is a little like a fruit. And a fruit does not exist on its own. A fruit is often nourished and connected to, well, a tree. And the tree, in our case, is going to be our internal state. So generally speaking, you cannot really act confident and be convincing about it if you don't feel confident on the inside. You may notice that some days you just feel on fire, and it's super easy for it to be confident, because that's exactly how you feel like, and being confident is simply an expression of who you are. So it's very simple to do. And it's the same with being social. Some days you just want to talk to people, and it's very easy. So that would be the tree. The way you feel internally is the tree. And there is this mistake that people, and by people I mean I, often do, where I think that I can get away with simply acting a certain way even though I don't feel it. And that's a mistake, because people can just instantly catch up on it. There's just something that people can instantly tell where there is a discrepancy between the way you feel and the way you act. It's instantly recognizable. So manually trying to act a certain way doesn't really work. Our brains are not really that smart. We can't really control that many variables. Right, so that's a tree. But there's another variable to this whole game, which is the soil from which the tree is planted. And the soil in which the tree is planted is, well, the things you do every day, the actions you do, the choices you do, and the habits you engage in. So basically what I'm trying to say is that what you do influences the way you feel, and the way you feel influences the way you act. So if you want to feel more confident, you don't necessarily want to force yourself to be more confident. Instead, what you want to do is do certain things during the day that make you feel a certain way, and then the way you feel automatically and naturally manifests itself as confidence on the outside. So now obviously the next question is going to be like, what exactly do I do on a day-to-day basis to feel confident? And I think that's actually fairly straightforward. I'm still figuring it out, but I think I have a pretty solid foundation on what generates these good feelings inside the body. And as far as I can tell, there's like 3 tiers to it. And you're going to want to think about it as a pyramid. You're going to want to start with the first tier and then move on to the second and then to the third. Don't really skip between them because it doesn't really work. So the first tier is going to be fairly obvious, to be honest. It's just sleep early, sleep well, eat right, and eat right means don't eat processed foods. Try to stay off carbs and salt. That's just a personal thing for me because I get bloated from water and I look like shit. And if I look like shit, I'm not gonna be very confident about myself. But just generally eat healthy foods and then train hard. Like these are the basics, like sleep, eat, train. Fairly straightforward. Get this down and you're gonna be in pretty good shape. After that, we're gonna have a second level, a tier 2, which is gonna be stuff such as meditation. You really want to meditate for 15 minutes a day. It sounds like bullshit and it really feels like wasted time, but trust me, over 2 weeks, it's very subtle, so it's very easy to miss, but your mood is going to 10x. It happens pretty slowly, and that's why it's kind of difficult to pinpoint. But once you do have a few streaks of meditation followed by a few streaks in which you don't meditate, it's actually surprising to see the difference. So that's it. Meditate for 15 minutes a day, and then I would say journal for not a long time, just 10 minutes a day, it's fine. And generally speaking, journaling, just a side note, you don't want to think about journaling like, all right, dear diary, today is the fucking 12th of August and today I saw a frog, or today my fucking mom slapped me, or that's not what you're using journaling for. Generally speaking, what you want to use journaling for is, let's say that you came across some interesting thought in your head. You're like, all right, let's take this example. All right, I don't feel very confident. Why is that? And then you kind of try to unpack what's going on. You kind of try to use journaling as a tool for introspection. Or today a guy in a taxi was very mean to me and that made me feel very bad. Why is that? And you pretty much try to understand and unpack what's going on inside your own head. And what this does for you is that it helps you figure out what works and what doesn't work for you. And since it's written, you're able to duplicate that further in time. So when you find something that works for you, you're way more likely to keep doing it if you write it down. Because if you just rely on your brain to remember like, oh yes, when I use a white noise machine when I sleep, I do tend to sleep better. You think you're gonna remember that, but you're not gonna remember that because you're gonna have like 30 different things that influence you in your day-to-day life, and it's super easy to forget them. So generally speaking, just use journaling as a way to organize your brain. And third, and this sounds really woo-woo, and I generally try to stay away from recommending it because it stinks of law of attraction bullshit, but I would say visualizing. I personally visualize for 1 hour a day. And what that means and the way I do it, I'm probably gonna make a separate video on this because I think it's some pretty dope shit, homie. But generally speaking, what you want to do is just, let's say, take your laptop and have one thing that you want to achieve in 5 years. Let's say, I want to have $1 million in 5 years. Right, so for the next hour, I just do 1 hour, you can do whatever you want. For the next hour, I pretty much free form write. And my task, I guess, is to take 5 minutes and just try to imagine myself being in that situation. So for the next hour or so, I'm going to trick my brain into thinking that I am the person that already has that type of stuff. And from there on, I'm going to start writing about different things. For instance, how was my journey to getting that $1 million? Or how exactly do I feel now? Or what kind of problems do I have now? Or how did I overcome doubt? Or how did I manage to handle my family situation and my friends? while I was working all the time to get this $1 million. And you will find that two things. One is that visualization is pretty much planning on steroids, because instead of, I'm not gonna get too deep into it, it just works, man. It just works. I found that whenever I visualize about something, it tends to happen, and many times it happens faster than I planned it to happen. So just try it out. I'm gonna make a different video on it, getting a bit more into depth into it, because I think it's legit. But either way, and that will be the second tier. So we have meditation, journaling, and visualization. And now the third tier is gonna be stuff such as, there is this concept called social lubrication that I came across from Hamza. You probably know Hamza, big ass YouTuber. So the whole idea is, when you go about your day, when you go outside and you see someone beside you, let's say you're waiting for your taxi or your metro, or you're training in the gym, you're in the locker room or whatever, and you notice this person and he has a cool backpack or something, you're going to want to say something along the lines of, yo, cool backpack, where'd you get it? It's just literally just start small talking to people. Just start short conversation with people as you go throughout your day. Literally just, as you walk by someone, say, hello, have a nice day. Or as you go to a cashier, ask, hey, how's your day going? Basic shit like that. Just start conversation during the day. And you're going to find that you're going to make a lot of friends that way. And then it's just make sure that you keep talking to girls or guys or whatever you're into. I find that helps too. So that's kind of an upper tier thing. Just be social pretty much. Talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to girls, just talk to people. And to wrap it all up, if you do these things and if you do them in order, well, you're gonna feel pretty fucking good about yourself, because one, you're gonna be well rested, you're gonna be well trained, you're gonna eat well, your brain is gonna function well, you're gonna be motivated, you're going to be, well, social, I guess. You're gonna have tons of friends, you're gonna have girls around you, and guess what? You're gonna feel pretty good about yourself, chances are. And being confident from that position is not gonna be rocket science. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope this was helpful for you. You know the drill. Please like, subscribe, share, whatever the fuck. Just hit the bell notification button. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later, and peace.